Good morning and welcome to the Women in Leadership, Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership, build relationships, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, sharing the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Today's guest is passionate about supporting businesses, freeing up their time and giving them the flexibility to handle more orders. She shares a vision to help through collaboration, believing the more successful you are, the more successful we all are. She is an amazing person with a heart of gold. Welcome back, Susan Otten of Indie Do Good.
Oh, thank you for that. That was great. Love it. Yeah, I mean, it's just so great to connect with a group of women that kind of share these values. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was doing good. And that's something that's really close to my heart. I've, I'm a little older. I've had a successful career, moved around the country. I've lived in Minnesota, Illinois, Kansas, Texas, Georgia. And then we're like, what are we thinking? Our kids are in college. We're moving back home to Minnesota. And now I'm like, what am I thinking? It's, what did I say? 1 degree. It's 1 degree out. It's cold.
Ooh, I was like, you're not, the only place you can come was the Pacific Northwest where we are.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, I didn't go that direction yet. But when we came back to Minnesota, we really wanted to figure out not just the typical corporate jobs that both my husband and I had been very successful in. I had an amazing career, including very early in my career, 15 years at Apple Computer. Still stay in touch with many friends there. I've worked in large corporations, global corporations. I grew up on a farm. I had a number of jobs that were in the agriculture industry. But when I came back to Minnesota, I didn't just want to get a job. And so we looked around and figured out a way that we could have bigger impact than that. And the result is Indie Do Good, and that's the name of our company. And we champion and support entrepreneurial companies that do good. And we do it in a variety of ways. And I can talk about that a little bit later. But I don't want to focus on me. I want to focus on our listeners and those that are watching this podcast, that to challenge them in a way that isn't hard, isn't painful, but there's got to be a way that every company can do good. And I don't even define what good is. It's up to the own person or business or, corporation or whatever to do good. And so I was doing a little bit of research, and I just kind of wanted to know what kind of do goodness in a very general sense is being done in business. So I just did some Googling,
I love the Google.
Yeah.
Right.
So, a little caveat there, a little disclaimer. But it was interesting. I have to move my little window a little bit so I can read it. So this is a little bit old data, but you know how research is, it lags. In 2019, Fortune 500 companies gave $21 billion, billion, like boy.
Billion.
And that was a 13.5% increase over 2018. And I couldn't find information on the COVID years that, we're still in, and how that has changed. Because for some corporations, it's been a boom. And for some, it's been a bust. And for some, we don't know yet. It's still, we're still going through it. But the other statistic that I thought was, and that's pretty good. You think, 21 billion, that's more than chump change, right? But is it? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I didn't total up the total, profits of these Fortune 500 companies. So 21 billion seems like a lot, and it does a ton of good, but could we be doing a little more good? But then I looked, well, what about corporate match? Because that's great. Companies get behind their employees that are, and they support. Well, 65%, and this is, I think, from 2021, I think, 65% of large companies match, but only 28% of small to medium-sized businesses match employee donations. So that might be an opportunity. And then I was thinking, wow, only 65% of large corporations. So maybe they're not matching because they're doing good on the philanthropic side. But then I keep wondering, that 21 billion doesn't seem like enough. On average, corporations give 1% of their profits.
1%.
Just 1%.
1%. Now, I'm not anywhere near the accounting world. I love people that do numbers because I don't. But I know enough math to know that 1% is really tiny. In the accounting world, it's almost a rounding error, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
My mom's an accountant, so I get this.
yeah. So I don't want to criticize anybody that's giving, and supporting and being philanthropic and giving back to their community. And that's not what this is about. I'm about kind of opening people's eyes up to how could you do good? And for some companies, it's inherent in the products or service that they provide.
Right.
Right? I mean, some of them are just, healthy food. There's so much emerging with, non-GMO and organic and, not frozen, fresh. There's just a ton that's going on in the food space and in getting a little more in tune to our bodies and what we need. Then there's people are getting more active. We have a company that we've supported and they still haven't released their product, and we've been supporting them for a long time, but it's hard. It's a new technology, it's a new material, and it's a bike helmet, and it looks like a baseball cap. So it's stylish. It's not this big old clunky chunk of foam on your head. And wait, there's more. It collapses, it folds up, so it's more portable. So all those urban commuters that are riding their bikes to work in cities and towns, what do you do with that big old helmet that you got to lug under your arm, or you strap it to your backpack and take it to your office cube, and it's arguably 2.5 times safer than the traditional helmets, because styrofoam, which most traditional helmets are made out of, degrade when they come in contact with petroleum fumes. Now tell me, where do you keep your bike? Where do you
In the
put your helmet?
garage,
In the
right?
garage.
Wow.
Where
Oh,
the
you like it right
petroleum
between-
gas fumes are.
Yeah, right between the car and the lawnmower, or in my case, the snowblower. It's and they even say on most styrofoam helmets that you should replace it every year. Every year.
Every
Yeah.
year? I didn't
And
even
I'm
know
a
that.
big proponent of people wearing their bicycle helmets, because I had a friend in middle school, I was in 8th grade, who was, jumping the chain and stuff. He was at school after school, or it was the weekend, I can't remember now. But there's those low chains and stuff. So he was jumping the chain with his bike back and forth, back and forth. He was by himself. His front tire caught on the chain. He flipped over. He cracked his head open and somehow was able to walk his bike the 6 blocks home before passing out in his front yard. He ended up almost dying with brain swelling and things like that, because he wasn't wearing his helmet. So you guys, please, please, please wear your helmet, because the last thing you need is to get a phone call to tell you that your friend or your child or your child's friend or whoever has been injured because they weren't wearing their helmet. Okay,
Goodness.
it's just,
I just think
It's
about
very
what I
traumatic.
did as a kid without a helmet, and please wear a helmet.
Right.
Like,
So
please.
that's my little speech on helmets. So
Yeah, so there's lots of ways that companies can do good. That we also support companies that are supporting artisans, women that are making art crafts in other countries. This is one of them. I use it as a coaster. It's great. I think this is from Guatemala, I think. But there's just so many things that companies do that can be a give back, and a lot of it just is having a discussion, talking about it. What's important to you as the founder or the owner of the company? What's important to your employees? You know, it's great to involve them in conversations. They know a lot about your company. They're working there. They want it to be successful. You know, most people have, I mean, people don't try to not do good. It's people have big hearts. It's just sometimes it's not really a mindful, purposeful decision. And it can be a great process. It can help you define your vision, your mission for your company. You know, and I'm not saying, like, of the companies we support one nonprofit, and they're great. When COVID started, well, they support disadvantaged youth. When COVID started and at-home learning, they were like, our population doesn't have a computer at home for the kid. How are they going to do at-home learning? How are they going to do virtual classroom with no computer? And they wrote grants and got computers, and we're still shipping computers. I think I saw on our order list today, like 175 computers are supposed to go out today to kids that still don't have computers. What have they been doing for the last, you know, almost 2 years?
Scary.
Going on 3 years, right? It is
Oh
scary.
my gosh.
And I wasn't aware, here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of technology companies. You know, we have Microsoft. It's kind of big in the area, right? It's kind of a big tech company, and they have donated many of the, you know, we have Chromebooks for like every student in our small little school district, because we do have a very small school district. We have one high school, like 2 middle schools, and like 7 elementary schools in our entire district.
Yeah, we are
okay?
pretty small.
We live in a small town. But you know, every student in the state of Washington, you know, if they didn't have a computer at home that they could use,
they were
They
given Chromebooks to use for school through the school, which is amazing and then the schools worked with the internet companies, and they got mobile hotspots for all the students. So that was really amazing.
Yeah.
When we're talking about giving back to our communities, that's something that we always like to bring up every episode. And what I love it because we connect so much. I have goosebumps right now. Entrepreneurs, as we're moving forward, there's a lot more of us not working in big corporations. So it's super important for us as entrepreneurs to make sure that a part of our puzzle is some sort of giving back to our community. So our cause, go ahead.
I've heard from a number of different sources that entrepreneurs are the next generation of philanthropists.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And
I mean, because, and then you get to decide, like, is water important to you? Like, do you want to go build a well for a community, like, and help them, you know, become sustainable? Like, is that where you want to do? What is it? What is the thing that is most affects you? And I think for me was definitely growing up in diversity and, you know, adversity. So when we found networking, and we found Rayanne Hall's passion that she created this nonprofit. It's it's local here, but okay, breathe. Words will come. Okay, thank you. She made a mentoring program for young women that want to overcome their diversities and take their lives further. So it follows them and mentors them through the process. And it's just such a really neat program that she's created. And then, you know, it's a nonprofit, so it's encouraging other women entrepreneurs to help these other women, you know, like build a community and have a community of people that it's really cool.
And move into a career of their own, you know, from their own passions. And
we have, you know, Minneapolis, St. Paul has had a number of pretty public issues that have gone on in the last few years. And some of our entrepreneurs have really gotten involved in that. We have one founded by Asian woman. She and her partner, Miles, went to college together. I think it's 3 this spring, maybe it's 4, 3 or 4 years, but they're doing great. It's called Coconut Whisk. They do vegan, gluten-free baking mixes.
Ooh.
Amazing, because I don't cook or bake. I'm vegan and I'm gluten sensitive. So I was home with my husband for the last week because he tore his retina and detached, and it's a mess.
Ooh,
And
ow.
I have to be a nurse and patient and give him eye drops 11 times a day,
Yeah.
and he's hungry. And so I had a package of this coconut whisk for pancakes in the pantry, and it's a God thing. I mean, it seriously is. It's probably been in the pantry longer than it should be, but I made it. And you know what? I can add water and stir it up and throw it in a pan and make a pancake. I did it. But it doesn't even stop there with them. They had an opportunity. The Downtown Council for Minneapolis is supporting entrepreneurs that want brick and mortar spaces. They opened a cafe. So now they have a cafe downtown
Oh.
Minneapolis, and they did it because they can employ now, mostly women in that cafe in this really distressed area right downtown Minneapolis. And wait, there's more. She is passionate about well-being, and she's always posting these great messages about taking care of yourself and taking care of others. So it's just like, it's the trifecta, the perfect storm of great products, helping the community, take care of yourself. I love
That's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That fits
And
right with your like three legs, right?
Yeah.
The 3 legs that
My-
you
yep.
Your three-legged stool.
Yes.
Mhm.
And like, that's one thing. I also wanted to mention the other company name, the Helmet Company, because, you guys are passionate about helmet. And I think they'd be mad at me that I don't know this statistic. It's right on their website, but it's called Park and Diamond, because there's one of the founder's sisters was hit and run on her bike commuting without a helmet on.
Oh.
And she was in a coma for 4 months. And so her brother, who is an engineering student at Virginia Tech, and his buddy figured out, they're like, we got to solve this problem. This is horrible. I think that this statistic is if you have a head injury on a bike, which you're probably going to have if you have an accident without a helmet, it's like 90%. I don't think it's 90% fatal, but it's 90%, I think, lasting impact.
Mhm.
Something.
It's gonna change
It's
the
gonna change
rest
it.
of your life.
Yeah. And the sister had an amazing, successful recovery, graduated from Rutgers, is now in law school, but it took a long time. So anyway, I just wanted to mention Park and Diamond because they're doing good things too. But back to the 3-legged stool. So we do logistics, which is a fancy word for shipping and warehousing. And like in the case of Park and Diamond, they are manufactured in Asia, which was part of the delay because of COVID just ravaged those countries at the beginning, and engineering challenges and all that stuff, plus just the technical stuff. So, but hopefully, knock on wood, they're going to be shipping this spring, summer. So we're excited about that.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. But so the logistics is one. And I always say to people, you can ship a box. A lot of entrepreneurs will say, I just do it at night when I'm watching TV with my kids. And I just like hold back the gasp and say, well, I haven't met an entrepreneur yet whose core competency is shipping a box. There's probably a whole lot more you could do for your company than, shipping those boxes. Plus, shouldn't you be spending time with your kids while you're watching TV with them?
Right.
So
Because your time has value.
Totally.
And your kids know when you're pulled, right? Like my son actually came out and said, Mom, it frustrates me when you're on your phone while I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I've been making a point to go plug my phone in the other room and have family time, like just us, like
That's-
just focusing on
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in like only founders can do things like create vision and mission and purpose in that do good space. Only founders, are going to guide and direct the company in whatever way it's going to go. Most founders that I know are the product developers. Most founders that I know are the ones that are doing the relationships and the sales to grow the company, right?
right.
So there's that. Then I like to think we're a kinder, gentler logistics company, because if you have needs like, we'll take engineering. My husband's an engineer, and there's a lot of founders that are wicked smart, have identified a problem in the market that they know how to solve. They know it up here, but they may not know how to design it. They might know how to design it, but maybe they don't know how to design it for manufacturing. Maybe they don't know how to design it in a way that they can take cost out of the product and make it cheaper. And therefore, oh, my dog, now she's standing.
Yeah, she just like stands on the desk.
Doesn't everybody's dog stand on the desk?
I guess I'm crowding her, taking up too much room in the chair. So if they need help with engineering, we can do that. If they need help with marketing, they can do that, because we get to know them really well. I'm a connector. I always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I know a lot of people. So I try to introduce them to people, get them connected with other people that can help them. We just want them to grow, because the bigger they are, the more successful they are, the more good they can do. So that's what
Right, and we all grow in community with one another.
Yes.
We don't do it by ourselves.
No. We say at our church, community happens in circles, not in rows. Meaning, just sitting in the rows that, on Sunday morning, that's great. There's more to it than that. And I think it's the same in business. I think entrepreneurship is really lonely. I think COVID makes us really lonely. We know that cold weather makes you lonely. Seasonal depression is a big, big thing.
Yeah, especially here in the Pacific Northwest, where we have gray skies 9 months out of the year. It is a thing. They actually put it out on the news regularly over the winter.
Even the news does it. Even the news lets you know you don't feel good.
Yeah, they're like, okay, make sure you take your
vitamin D
for seasonal depression, and get a happy light, do something that makes you feel good, whatever the case may be. But yes, and I love that 3-pillar stool
concept. The idea, and having like the 3 pillars, like, because I think that even leans into not putting all your eggs in just one basket, like the gal that has the online, baked goods, dry goods, has a store, and you just keep building until you have those pillars so that you're more stable, and then you become more recession proof. I would like to say the word COVID proof, because then it doesn't matter if you need to stay home or things shut down for a little while and you can't be in the actual shop, right? Or people are getting sick again, so nobody's coming into restaurants. There's all these layers, right?
Totally. And, COVID has taught us many things, about ourselves, our family, our environment, our jobs. It taught us that we can buy anything online. I mean, I always used to think food was the last holdout. And now, you
can get your groceries delivered.
Groceries delivered, your takeout delivered. I mean, it's takeout to the Uber boy who brings it over then, it's really made, think of the changes in education, one school that used to be known for, I don't know, one thing, a specialty, a really great school to go for if you're interested in now that myth can be busted, because you can virtually lecture in any smart person around the world.
Yeah,
You know?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube University, right? You can
Yes.
learn how to do
Yeah.
anything. I've learned how to like fix my things in my car
Mm,
by watching YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
And home repairs,
Yeah.
things like that. Things that my husband doesn't already know how to do. We'll
Mhm.
YouTube it and then he'll figure it out. He's a skills collector. I think I've mentioned that before. But anyway, we need to move on. We're gonna do our meditation
So
thing.
both feet on the ground or legs both crossed. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. This is the time you can pause and come back or listen, but don't close your eyes.
Right, and take a couple nice big deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And keep that nice, slow, steady breath while I read day 25 of Meditations from the Mat by Rolf Gates and Katrina Kennison. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. That's Proverbs 16:18. In practice, I often think of this proverb and I remind my students, pride and ambition will get you hurt. Humility will get you well. Putting satya or truthfulness into practice on the mat is an exercise in humility. We tend to facilitate between our pride and ambition and our fear. Think of a posture that you've almost nailed. You're so close to mastering it that you can almost taste it. How tempting it is to push now, to let your ego step in and take you the rest of the way. But when we become ambitious, we lose sight of the point of our practice. Now think of a posture that you avoid. A student recently said she loved my class that morning. When I asked her what she had loved about it, she replied, well, we didn't do the crow. She speaks for all of us. I personally do not like the eagle pose. I have heavily muscled shoulders and heavily muscled thighs, and balancing on one leg with my arms and legs crossed over each other. I feel a lot more like the retired football player that I am than an eagle. When we avoid certain poses, though, we're allowing our own beliefs to dictate our reality. We believe that we are somehow less capable than the person to our right or to our left. The truth is that any demon honestly met becomes a friend, and our friends should be treated wisely if we wish them to remain our friends. Instead of pride or ambition, fear or avoidance, we need the light of truth. Humility has two sides. Most of us have been told at one time or another, don't get too big for your britches. And we know exactly what that means. Humility is about letting go of the good results as well as the bad. But there is another aspect to humility, and that is about not playing small. Just as we may strive on the mat for more than our bodies are ready for, we may also take the opposite tack and play small. We back off and stay in the comfort zone, all of our excuses at the ready. I'm not built like that. That's great for them, but not for me. I have bad balance, bad knees, bad eyesight, the wrong kind of mat. It's too hot. It's too cold. I'm too young. I'm too old. We sell ourselves short. Humility is also the awareness that we cannot afford to play small. It is the aspect of satya that brings us into balance. We need not eradicate fear or ambition. Both are necessary energies in our lives. Rather, we must bring them into balance in the moment so that our postures are practiced with a healthy distribution of both energies. Our postures become the embodiment of this exquisite balance between holding on and letting go, action and non-action, ambition and restraint. What is required to achieve that balance is a commitment to humility, a commitment to the truth.
That was really awesome because that reminded me of my personal yoga journey. And when I was over 400 pounds, had abdominal hernia, and I was in a yoga class, and our yoga instructor said we were going to do shoulder stands. And I thought she was flipping nuts.
Mhm.
But I looked at her and I said, I trust you. So if you think my body can do that, I'll try it. And it was the most amazing experience for me to go into a shoulder stand at over 400 pounds. Like,
Right.
not thinking that that is something I could ever do. And then to just do it. There's, it just breaks that whole limiting belief down, right? Like, there's nothing you can't do if you can't do it if you don't even try. Like, you can't. So like, that was really amazing.
I like that you said that you trusted the instructor enough and you told her, I trust you. I don't trust my own body.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe my body can do this, but if you believe my body can do this, I'm going to give it a try. And
it wasn't my first class.
Right.
I took yoga from her for 5 years.
Mhm.
So this was somewhere I would say probably, towards the beginning, but like at least, a while into yoga, she took our class through, as we got stronger, she would increase our poses and give us more options. And it was one of those classes that really took your body where it is at and helped you move on from where you're at. And I love that.
Right, exactly. I love that too. And this is, we can apply all this to our business lives too, because, we can look at what's holding us back. Is it our own fear-based beliefs, our own self-doubt and things like that? Or are we being comfortable and humble with what we have and we're not quite ready for that next step? We were talking about this just yesterday, about we are in a space of growth that we couldn't have been even a month ago.
Right. We were talking about like the next level, and we're opening up ourselves to this next level of space, and like, how are we going to move into that? And I was talking about how, I was going to do this thing, but I missed the deadline. We need to put it back on the list. And we're like, wait a second, if we had done it then, we would be missing a whole piece of what we're doing. Like, we're so much more balanced in what we've got now. And we're very excited. So that was really a cool piece of that.
Yeah. Moving into something when you're ready for it versus moving into something when you're not, right? Susan, does that
Say
make
that
sense
again?
to you? Moving into something when you're actually ready for it. Maybe you've been holding off on something because you're not quite ready for it, but not from a place of fear. And then when that time comes and you're ready for it, then you're like, now it makes sense why I couldn't do this before, because it wouldn't have connected,
Right.
universally to all the other things that are going on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the Bible talks about have a spirit of faith, not fear. And, I really live into that. I try to. It's really hard, really hard.
It is very hard.
I'm very much a control freak, all caps _ bold. And, to just let go and have faith is not my, nature. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I'm a hard worker. I can do it, right?
Yes, me too.
Absolutely.
A much small, little tiny farm. We had 25 chickens. I don't know, a couple goats, some pigs, 2 horses.
Yeah.
But it's hard work, right? You know how to do it.
Yeah. Like that work smarter, not harder. I'm like, what? It's kind of like you have to stop and pause, and I have to stop and pause and think, what's working smarter? That seems like when I was growing up, that would almost be an oxymoron. Not that my dad wasn't, a smart farmer. He was brilliant. But there was also a ton of hard work involved. And I wasn't at the smart level yet, home on the farm. But it takes a lot of effort. It's back to that kind of practice thing. You want to make a difference. You want to make an impact. You want it to be now. you know, you got a great idea, you want it deployed now, you know,
Right.
and people that can't see it, "Ugh, how can you not understand?" You know, that's all, you know, frustrating to me. And I don't have a lot of patience and to stop and pause and reflect, you know, to think before I speak, you know, count to 10 before I start typing a text, you know, that kind of stuff. It's hard. It's hard work. And you just,
I like that count to 10 before sending the text.
Count to 10. Is this really what I want to say? Does this
Yeah.
sound right? Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, it's just, it's a challenge and it's a, you know, but it's a journey. It's a walk, you know.
Yeah, and it's all part of that personal growth, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to grow within ourselves in order to grow as women in business also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
journey. Give
Uh-huh.
yourself some grace along the way.
Yeah.
So
And-
as part, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I got a reminder from our women's Bible study group. It's called Sisterhood. It's great. And it's like, you know, God's not done with me yet. You know, this isn't the finished product. Thank God. You know, so it is a journey. It's a process, and having patience and faith is all together, you know, and you have to work it through. And it's a process. It's good.
Absolutely.
Is. And as part of my journey, I've been on a health and wellness journey, and I've lost 173 pounds. And last month, I was focusing mostly on sleeping better. And so every night I was putting on just some nice music on YouTube. I have YouTube Premium. I wouldn't recommend it if you have the YouTube commercials. Either, you know, a meditation CD or just something that's like mellow, just to help myself get into the groove. And I noticed the last couple of nights, because it's not on my forefront of my mind, I haven't put on that music, but I've still slept really well.
You had to retrain yourself. how to
Yeah,
sleep
I was
again.
like, this is so cool. And
Mhm.
so this month, or well, especially this week, we've been focusing on drinking our water. And what does that look for like for us? Each of us have our own water goals. So we've been talking about different parts of why you want to drink water. And one that I think is super important, and one that I had my doctor look at me like I was crazy for. I was like, I'm drinking a gallon of water today to help me lose weight. And he was like, so if your doctor gives you that, what the heck are you doing? Look, this is why you're drinking water for losing weight. As we're losing weight, we are breaking down fat cells. And in our body, the fat is what stores our toxins. So if our body is releasing toxins into our system and we're not flushing those out, so if we're not getting enough water that we're flushing it out, then our body turns down the metabolism of the fat so that we're not becoming too toxic. So it stalls your weight loss, right? So literally the water is so important to our system. So that's why good hydration, drinking water, flushing out those toxins, if your goal is weight loss.
Right. So I knew what drinking water and staying hydrated helped with weight loss, but I didn't quite understand how until you just said that.
In that,
Right?
this is the level of things that we talk about in our Let's Talk About It Taka group.
Right.
We talk about these things because there's so much science behind why you need good nutritional products, why these things are behind. And some people really like that. They like need to know why it's working. Oh, maybe. And other people are like, just tell me how much to drink. Right. So we got both ends of the spectrum. But if you would like to know more about what we're doing as far as hydration, we can definitely get you over into that group and talk to you about it.
Right. And I've been doing this hydration now for, what is it, Wednesday, 3 days?
Yeah,
And
we're
I
on
already feel so much better. I slept so good last night. It's just been amazing. So stay hydrated, you guys.
You know, it also, the hydration thing, is also for injuries, because the same thing, when you have an injury, you've got
Yeah.
toxins that are building up and swelling, and you want to drink to flush those toxins out too. So,
Mhm.
I mean, water is great. I used to tell my kids when they were little, they were both very athletic and played, sports in college and all this stuff. And, but if they had an injury, it's okay to solve this problem. It's water and ice for the injury, to bring the swelling down, and water. You drink like you're a fish. And it's just, I think traditional medicine grossly underestimates the power of water.
Yes.
I literally
I was-
had my medical doctor look at me like I was insane. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're watching me shrink.
Yeah.
You asked me how I'm doing it. I said, I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. Like,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he could not figure out why those two things were important together in the same space. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we need to like unfocus you. Let's pull you
Little
over
bit,
here.
a little
Like,
bit.
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
No,
I
I was
really-
hit by a semi. I was hit by a semi truck one time in stop and go traffic. It was a construction site.
Oh, man.
Knew it was this construction site. He was hauling a full load of gravel. So semi truck carrying a full load of gravel for the construction, stop and go. I was stopped, and I didn't see him coming. And this is a God story too. I mean, the car in front of me, the traffic moved at the same time he hit me and pushed me more than the length of a football field. But boom, and hit me. Oh, and along those concrete Jersey barriers, and I went straight as an arrow. Didn't get crunched into that. But the whiplash injury and the torn tendon that I had, and you have so many little fine muscles in your neck and your back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I shocked the doctors at how quickly I recovered from that injury, because I drank water almost constantly. I mean, I would just, it is very
Because you knew that from having the kids with the sports injuries.
Yes,
Ice
yeah,
and water, ice and water, ice and water, right?
yeah.
Wow. Like,
I mean, I could
when
not.
someone says, I'm just a mom, I want you to think about what moms know.
No,
Like,
after
dang.
the accident, I couldn't hold my head up unassisted. I had to
Have
to
the
hold 'em up.
collar.
Yeah, and then I got a collar.
Yeah.
I had to drive like 4 hours home, the next
Makes my
day.
jaw hurt thinking about your whiplash.
Oh my gosh, it was
Ugh.
weird, and healed up really quickly. Yeah.
All right. Another reason to stay hydrated, you guys.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Our quote of the week.
Yes, sit in reverie and watch the changing colors of the waves that break upon the idle seashore of the mind. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
There's so much in that quote there. So much. Okay, upcoming events. Friday, 9 a.m. We have Leslie Rochelle back. Mindset Mondays are now at 11:30. That's like a short little 20-minute podcast for you guys. Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Next Tuesday, we'll be with our producer B. She's going to talk about
Disabilities in the workplace.
yeah, disabilities in the workplace and how that has affected her. Wednesday at 9 a.m. we have Devin with us. You guys are going to love her. We saw her speak at the Women Empowering Women Business E-Summit in January. She's amazing. And then next Friday, 9 a.m.
We hope to go on location.
Yes.
We're going to go on location, live on from location. We're going to go visit Miss Angela Clune.
At a huge production. So she's got this wonderful production studio. They do podcasts. They do
They help with video editing,
documentaries.
documents, commercials,
Yeah.
All kinds of things. They just don't do weddings.
Right.
I don't blame her.
Right? So
someone else can take actual pictures.
yeah, we're really excited to be on location with her next week. So as long as everybody stays healthy, then we'll be there. So, and we're really excited for that. That's going to be an early morning for us, but I'm down.
And then, of course, that we have the end of the quarter, we have the Now Marketing Gala, and those tickets are on sale now. So make sure you get your Now Marketing Gala tickets for March 31st. You do not want to miss a Rayanne Hall party. She
Rayanne
puts
Hall
on
knows how to throw a
quite a
party.
show.
Mhm.
So
And you keep saying marketing, it's networking.
oh
Now
my
networking,
gosh,
right?
networking.
So Now Networking, all their links are in the comments or in the description. Go check them out. Support this great cause to help women overcome adversity.
Thank you, Susan, so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
It was so wonderful having you. Thank you so much. And for our listeners, we're looking forward to continuing to connect and build more relationships with more community leaders.
Yes, that is you. You are a woman in leadership, and we're looking forward to you joining our table.
Come join us at our table.
Namaste.
Namaste.